was yours? Because Shrines is over here. Yeah, Anthony's taking up our whole meeting here. And he's not even here. Anthony, are you here?
You don't want to miss his first roll call.
Anthony, you don't want to miss your first roll call. Judge Laster's here. Shirley Smith is here. Count.
He's in the hall, I heard.
Tell Shirley can come dust off the seat over here. Huh? She can come sit over here.
She's going to be there. Don't start being big.
Who is it? What's his name? Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to call to order the regular council meeting of Tuesday, March the 11th, 2004. Madam Clerk, will you call the roll?
Madam Chair, did you not want to do the swearing-in?
I thought we had to open the meeting.
Okay. Wait.
You're right, okay, sorry. Let's, item number 2, receipt of certification. I'd like to just point out that, you know, as all of you know, we are a very new organization. This is the first time that we've had a new member of council. So our clerk, Ms. Schmatzer, was very diligent in setting up the procedure. We are in receipt of a certification by the Democratic Party Central Committee certifying the election of Mr. Anthony Hairston. And we have all of our paperwork together, and we are now here today, or this evening, to swear Mr. Hairston in. So I believe that we have a number of speakers, and we'll wait a couple minutes to get people seated. All of us have unofficially welcomed Anthony to our group, and he's been already to a couple of committee meetings, and I think we got him a parking pass and ID, and he's even signed up to get paid, so I'm sure he's very happy with that. And so this evening, we're going to have his swearing in, and followed by the meeting, then we'll have some light refreshments. So I'm very glad that so many of you are here this evening. So not only can you see Anthony sworn in, but you can also observe one of our meetings and some of the very, very important things that we do here. So I think it's appropriate, I'd like to call on our first speaker, the Honorable Jeff Johnson, Councilman from City of Cleveland, Ward 10. And we have microphones here, Mr. Johnson. You can use these and face the audience. And
thank you. To Madam Chair, to Executive Fitzgerald, to the elected officials, to all of the council members, and to everyone else here, it is with great pleasure that I'm speaking briefly on behalf of a gentleman who comes from my neighborhood, who is actually the ward leader of the community that I have the pleasure now of being elected to, and that is Cleveland Ward 10. Anthony comes not as a new person to public service. He has worked behind the scenes for many years. He has helped a number of individuals get elected for a number of years, whether they're legislators or whether they're judges. He brings with him a warehouse of information and experience. And I just want to say, not only am I proud of him, I'm looking forward to him representing his district in a way that we all would be proud of. And so I just come with you to say that from Ward 10, from District 10, we are here very proud of him, and we're very happy, and we expect him to be elected in November, and we expect him to do a job, the same job he's been doing, but now he'll be out front. God bless you. Good luck. Thank you.
Thank you. And once again, for those who are coming in, if you have a parking ticket from Huntington Garage, stop over here and we'll stamp your parking ticket for you. All right, our next speaker is the Honorable Michael Polensek, councilman from City of Cleveland, Ward 8, and you are our longest service councilman? Ever. I think you got elected the same year I got elected to municipal court.
Thank you. Probably not a good sign of mental stability, but that's besides the point. It is my honor to be here, and before I say something nice about my friend Anthony, I want to commend all the members of the council. From afar on the other side of Lakeside Avenue, I've had the pleasure to see you and look at your operation, and I want to commend each and every one of you for your involvement, for your commitment, and for your working together. I'm very impressed by the relationship you built among yourselves with the county executive, Ed Fitzgerald. So again, my congratulations to each and every one of you. I've had the pleasure at various times to serve with some of my former colleagues here and to work with you in the future. So again, thank you and God bless you. I am here too to thank Anthony Hairston for being a part of our Northeast Coalition, working with Councilman Johnson, Councilman Conwell, myself, on issues that pertain to our community. A ward leader, neighborhood activist, concerned about our community, a product of Collinwood High School. And as I've learned a long time ago, Jeff and I, once a railroader, always a railroader. So your involvement, we went through a very trying time with the redistricting process. Anthony was heavily engaged with us. And I'm here on behalf of the people of the 8th Ward to say thank you for your contributions, for your involvement, and for everything that you've done for the Northeast side. I believe you will be an asset to the Cuyahoga County Council. There are some wonderful people here for you to work with, and we look forward to some great things happening through your office. And again, to everyone who's here, on behalf of Anthony, his friends and family, you have a wonderful young man here who will represent our area to the best of his ability. Thank you, and God bless each and every one of you. Thank you.
And our third speaker is someone who we usually anticipate on being on this side, and who has left us to go on to bigger and better things, Mr. Julian Rogers.
Thank you, everyone, and it's a pleasure to be here. It's different to be on the other side of the podium there, but I just like to thank Anthony for stepping up to the plate and agreeing to serve and replace me on the county council. My decision to leave the county council was very difficult, one of the most difficult decisions I've ever had to make. And it gives me a little bit of relief to know that we're being replaced, that I'm being replaced by someone of Anthony's stature, someone of his intellect. I think he's going to fit in very well on this council, and he has a lot to offer. He's a very hard worker, and some of you may or may not know, Anthony was my campaign manager during my first campaign for the county council. And he obviously did a great job doing that. So he knows his way around politics. He knows his way around getting things done, for sure. And he works well with other people, and I think that's going to be one of the biggest attributes to this council. And you all work very well together during my time here. We all worked very well. We had our differences, but we worked in the best interest of the county. And I know that Anthony takes his seat with the best interest of the county at heart. I'm going to miss you guys, but the residents of District 10 will be well served. You'll see that his hard work will pay off. And one of the things that I think that Anthony really has a handle on is he knows the residents of District 10. He knows the people. He gets out there. He keeps his feet to the ground and knocks on doors, talks to people. He's at every event. So he will be extremely engaged, someone that's very accessible, and I think will do us all proud. So congratulations, Anthony. I know you'll keep the strong work that we've been doing here on the county council. You'll keep that going, and you'll definitely be an asset to not only District 10, but to the entire council. So congratulations.
We have a number of elected officials here. If you'd like to stand and be recognized, I see Shirley Smith here. Of course, we're going to have Judge Carr in just a minute. Nathaniel. Okay. And Judge Williams, and Judge Nita Laster Mays, and Marty Sweeney, and Kevin Kelly, and Judge Ed Wade, one of my favorite judges. I remember when he was a lawyer. Okay, anyone else? And we're gonna talk to, introduce Judge Carr in a second. Okay, before we have the swearing in, Anthony, I have a small gift for you. We have to thank Mr. Germana for this. He's been in charge. He's the unofficial person in terms of getting name badges. And so we have a name badge for you right here. And this is made for you especially. And I'd like to present this. And actually, you can wear this during your swearing in.
Other side.
Okay, and if Judge Carr would like to come up and do the honors. And you want to go down there, and you got other members of your family, someone else with you?
Yes, brother, and also my father.
Probably get out of the way so I'm not screwing up the
Trying to play with your equipment here. Does someone have your Bible? You want a Bible, or you don't need one? You don't want
you
one?
didn't bring a Bible?
That's- I was going to say I have two in my office. You sure? Okay.
You have to remind us about that.
That's all right. Come on up, fam.
We could have you sworn in on the county charter or the ordinances.
Hey, whatever your preference is. You know, it's an honor and a pleasure for me to be here on behalf of Anthony. I'd like to congratulate County Council because you are definitely getting an asset here. He is truly a hard worker. He was my campaign manager as well, and he made me work very, 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 very hard. It was funny. I told him, I said, Anthony, you're like the son I never had. He said, actually, Pinky, you're older than my mother, so you could be my grandmother. And I'm like, oh, okay. So he's been calling me Nana ever since, and he calls my bailiff David Grandpa. So we are the grandparents. So it is an honor and a pleasure for me to be here. So without further ado, if you will raise your right hand, and after I state your name, I
Anthony T. Hairston,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support, uphold, and defend
that I will support, uphold, and defend
the Constitution of the United
the
States,
Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the State of Ohio,
the Constitution of the State of Ohio,
and the Charter and the laws
and the Charter and the laws
of the County of Cuyahoga, Ohio,
and the County of Cuyahoga, Ohio,
that I will faithfully, honestly,
that I will faithfully and honestly,
diligently, and impartially
diligently and impartially
perform and discharge
perform and discharge
all of the powers and duties
all of the powers and duties
incumbent upon me
incumbent upon me
as a member of Cuyahoga County Council
as a member of Cuyahoga County Council
in and for the County of Cuyahoga,
in and for the County of Cuyahoga,
State of Ohio,
State of Ohio,
according to the best of my
according to the best of my
ability and understanding.
ability and understanding.
Congratulations, Councilman. I love you, grandson.
Love you too, Nana. First off, I would like to say thank you to each and every one of you all who took the time out to come and celebrate this momentous occasion with not only myself, but my family and friends. It is truly a great honor and pleasure to serve the people of District 10. You know that District 10 is one of the diverse districts that we have here in Cuyahoga County. I look forward to serving them. And on the night of the appointment, I was talking with one of my precinct committee people, and you know that Nelson Mandela recently passed away. And there was a quote that he said that a good person who has a formidable head and good head and a good heart is always a formidable combination. And so the princely person said, Anthony, you have a good head and you definitely have a good heart. And that is why we chose you to serve us in District 10. So again, thank you to the Northeast Coalition. Thank you to our great Congresswoman Marsha Fudge, State Senator Shirley Smith, council, other members of council who did not directly endorse me, but was very supportive of myself. All the organizations in District 10, again, to my family, to my friends, thank you so very much. This has been a long journey, and we finally made it. Thank you.
Okay, welcome. Now, we have a captive audience. We're going to lock the door and not let you leave. We want you to stay for our meeting, then we'll enjoy some light refreshments, and this should sort of move along fairly quickly. Okay, now, Jean, can we do the roll call?
Yes, Madam Chair. Calling the roll, Mr. Germana. Here. Mr. Gallagher. Mr. Schron. Mr. Schron is absent this evening. Ms. Conwell. Here. Mr. Jones. Here. Mr. Hairston. Here. Ms. Simon. Here. Mr. Greenspan. Here. Mr. Miller. Here. Mr. Brady. Here. Ms. Conley. Here. There is a quorum.
All right, please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I actually neglected to make a motion. Mr. Hairston, would you like to make a motion to excuse Mr. Schron, who's unavailable this evening?
Chair, I would like to make the motion that we excuse Jack Schron from the meeting.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Hairston and seconded by Ms. Conwell. All those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. For a moment of silence, I'd like to everyone reflect on the passengers, crew, and family of the persons on Flight 370. That this is such a tragic event and that the mystery will be solved. All right, moving on to item 7. Is there any public comment? And folks, there's some seats, a few seats over here if you'd like to come in. Is there any public comment related to the agenda?
Yes, Madam Chair. Reverend Pamela Pinckney.
All right, Ms. Pinckney, you have 3 minutes.
I have come before you previously as victim, but I stand today as victor. I have stood before you overwhelmed, but I have become an overcomer. I looked at your agenda items prior to coming here, and I had wanted you to suspend funding the common police courts, the Department of Children and Family Services, the Department of Jobs and Family Services, as well as the Sheriff's Department, because I did not receive proper justice and due services to them, by them. But I am going to ask you, because if I paralyze them financially, then none of us will get anywhere. I'm asking that you would get with Rick Warner to see my concerns. My children were sodomized and raped by a Baptist preacher several years ago. I reported the matter. I was beat to a point where I ended up with rectal prolapse, and I ended up on 2 inhalers and 3 antibiotics. In an effort to cover this up, people have done things to silence me. I went to the prosecutor's office. I've been to the sheriff's office. I've been to the police departments. I've been everywhere that one could go. Also, one of my children was sexually assaulted in Plymouth Church Head Start. 2 of my children were sexually assaulted in my home and in Shaker schools. I've done what I'm supposed to do. I reported the crimes. But instead of taking the matter to heart, Mr. James McCafferty, who was the director at the time, tried to say that I was mentally ill. And he tried to make his caseworker, Sheila Thompson, say that I was mentally ill. And she said, no, she's not mentally ill. She just needs resources. I asked you to go back and look at the paperwork. I fled for our safety with my 4 children after we slept on the floor with a pot and a phone under my pillow, which my second civil protection order, which was violated and never enforced by Judge Cheryl S. Carner. This was August the 8th in the middle of the night, 2002. And September 19th, my children began disclosing what was taking place while I was trying to make us safe. When we were supposed to be safe, my children never came home from school. They were taken from the school and told that I gave them away, put them up for adoption, and knew that they were being taken. And my baby was taken from me. I have been for over 12 years now trying to not only get my children back, but trying to get these matters cleared up. And the prosecutors are aware of it. The sheriff's departments are aware of it. My home has been broken into on a regular basis, but I still stand. And I don't stand here this evening to be accusatory or insulting. I stand here because I'm blessed to be alive. And I thank you, if you would please, and the matters that I have circled on this agenda, I'm gonna give it to the person over here.
Okay.
And they would relate to everything that I'm telling you.
All right, and Sheriff Bova is here, and, you know.
He's aware, because
Okay.
I actually lived in Norman Hare Shelter,
Okay.
and if you can get someone
Okay,
to
well,
go in there
I'll-
and investigate
Okay,
that
I will
place.
follow up with Sheriff Bova tomorrow, okay?
Okay.
All right, thank you. Anyone else?
No, Madam
All
Chair.
right. All right, item 8, approval of the minutes the minutes from the February 25th, 2014 Committee of the Whole and the February 25th regular meeting are in your packet. If everyone has had an opportunity to review those minutes, we can adopt them as circulated. Moved by Mr. Germana and seconded by Ms. Conwell. Any discussion on the minutes? All those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. The minutes are approved. I don't have any announcements, Mr. Fitzgerald, did you have any announcements?
I do. Thank you very much, Madam President. A couple things that I want to mention. First of all, I wanted to congratulate. I forget you saying Councilman Hairston. So congratulations. I want to add my congratulations to everybody else. Two issues that I wanted to mention. I'll try to be brief. One is, and it's coming up as an agenda item, but I wanted to make my comments now. We had a quick press event at 4:30 on this issue of voting rights and the recent legislation that was passed in Columbus. There have been 3 separate bills that have been passed by Columbus, plus provisions that have been implemented now by Secretary of State Husted. I won't go through all the provisions, but I'll just say this. We have a history of the way that these things have unfolded before in Cuyahoga County. In 2004, our elections were an absolute travesty. The estimate is that 175,000 voters in Ohio tried to vote in the 2004 presidential elections and were not able to because of the chaos at the polls. You had polling places that were open past midnight, you had thousands of people, and we saw that is not the way we want to make national news. And the Cleveland area was making national news at that time. Now, it's one of those cases where the good news is government saw a problem and we fixed it. And the solution was expanded early voting, voting on Sundays and weeknights in the week before the election. It worked very, very well, which is why we didn't make national news in a negative way in 2006, in 2008, in 2010, and 2012. The provisions that have just been signed into law and have just been imposed by the Secretary of State have reversed that. And it's a terrible mistake. And we know exactly who was taking advantage of those early voting hours. And we're going to be providing that information to the public and to the council. But I can tell you, for instance, in 2008, of the individuals in Cuyahoga County who took advantage of early voting, and I'm talking about early in-person voting, so I'm talking about on Sundays and on the evening hours, the week before the election, even though the percentage of the voting population in this county that is African American is only about 29%, 78% of those who took advantage of those opportunities were African American. So we know exactly who these restrictions are, in my opinion, designed to effect. It's happened in state after state after state. This council has a long and I think a very proud history of taking a stand on these issues. We did it in 2011 when we risked legal action by the state. We were threatened by legal action from the Attorney General, the Auditor, and the Legislature when we took a stand for mailing out our own absentee ballot applications. In 2012, I was very proud that our law department was the only law department, the only county in Ohio that joined in the federal challenge in federal court against the last-minute changes that were attempted to be implemented back in 2012. And we were successful, and actually, our brief was actually cited in the federal opinion that threw out those last-minute changes as an affront to the Voting Rights Act. And we have an opportunity to do it here again. Now, some people may say that what we're doing is in contradiction to state law, and what I would say in opposition to that is what I think the state has done is in contradiction to federal law, including the Voting Rights Act. And I think we owe it to our constituents who we know use this service. We owe it to try to take a stand on that. So the legislation you're going to see here tonight helps establish, I think, not just as a passing policy, but it will enshrine in our ordinances that this is a policy that we believe in. I also want to let the council know that we are also collecting information that may aid us in what I think will eventually be a legal challenge, just like we challenged things in 2011 and 2012 successfully. So we've started to collect information from our own Board of Elections and other Board of Elections about, again, who do these restrictions affect? Who are the folks that have been taking advantage of early voting, and so that we can have a clearer picture of that in terms of any discriminatory effect that these provisions may have. I know it's not the easiest thing in the world to do. Most counties have taken a pass on this. There are certainly counties that have been intimidated out of challenging these things, but we have successfully challenged them in the past, and we should do so again. And I was joined by a long list of community activists and volunteers immediately prior to the council meeting, and you'll continue to hear from them, I think, throughout the legislative process, and I would ask for your support. The second issue, Madam President, briefly, is I had the pleasure earlier today joining with Mayor Jackson and CMSD Superintendent Eric Gordon. As the council is well aware, traditionally we've spent about $4.5 million on a yearly basis with our Invest in Children program, which we use to fund our UPK program here in Cuyahoga County. The Human Services Levy that passed in the last election allowed us to put a little bit more resources behind that effort. We have about $2 million additional that we're able to put behind UPK. So what we announced this morning was that we are looking at working with this new program that CMSD is implementing, which they're calling basically pre-for-CLE. But it's an expansion of universal pre-kindergarten in the Cleveland area. We're not talking about dedicating the entire amount that was appropriated, but we're having a conversation with them about how our additional pre-kindergarten dollars could be used in this very important program that we think is going to dramatically expand early childhood education in the Cleveland School District. Thank you very much, Madam President.
Thank you, Mr. Fitzgerald. Moving on, item 11, legislation introduced by council. Item A, consideration of resolutions of council for first reading and referring to committee. So these are matters that have been introduced, and we'll be referring them to various committees where sort of all the work is done in terms of working out the details on the legislation. Ms. Schmatzer?
Resolution number 2014-0056, a resolution confirming the county executive's reappointment of the Honorable Michael Prokuk, representing the Cuyahoga region, to serve on the Cuyahoga County Planning Commission for the term March 25th, 2014 through March 24th, 2017, and declaring the necessity that this resolution become immediately effective.
On this matter, we refer to Human Resources chaired by Ms. Conwell, and she'll be interviewing these people and going through, make sure they have the proper credentials. So this goes to Human Resources.
Resolution number 2014-0057, a resolution confirming the county executive's reappointment of Erica Toms to serve on the Alcohol, Drug Addiction, and Mental Health Services Board of Cuyahoga County for the term March 25th, 2014 through March 24th, 2018, and declaring the necessity that this resolution become immediately effective.
Go to Human Resources.
Resolution number 2014-0058, a resolution confirming the county executive's appointment of various individuals to serve on the Cuyahoga County Community Improvement Corporation Board of Trustees for various terms, and declaring the necessity that this resolution become immediately effective. The individuals to be appointed are Chris Murray for the term March 25th, 2014 through March 31st, 2017, and Jeanette Wright for an unexpired term ending January 31st, 2015.
Let's go to Human Resources.
Resolution number 2014-0059, a resolution making an award to College Now Greater Cleveland in the amount of $500,000 from the Cuyahoga County Educational Assistance Fund for Component 2 of the Cuyahoga County Educational Assistance Program for the period ending June 30th, 2015, authorizing the county executive to execute the contract and all other documents consistent with said award and this resolution, and declaring the necessity that this resolution become immediately effective.
This matter will go to Education, Environment, and Sustainability, and that's chaired by Ms. Simon. Yes,
I'd like to have my name added to this item.
okay. Add Mr. Miller's name, the sponsor. Item B, committee reports and consideration of a resolution of council for second reading. So these matters have been, will be read into the record, and the law, our rules require that things are read for 3 readings. So these are just for second readings.
Resolution number 2014-0050, a resolution confirming the county executive's appointment or reappointment of various individuals to serve on the Cuyahoga Regional HIV Health Services Planning Council for the term March 11th, 2014 through March 31st, 2017, and declaring the necessity that this resolution become immediately effective for the appointments and reappointments as printed on the agenda, items B1, I, and II.
No, this is just for second reading. You always want, Ms. Conwell is very stickler. She always wants 3 readings, so this is only on for second. And one of the reasons we have 3 readings, so people understand, is that if there was any question, anybody from the public wanted to come in and object, they could come in or make a statement about it. All right, item C, committee reports and consideration of resolutions of council for second reading, adoption under suspension of the rules. So these matters were referred to committee, but we don't need to have, there's a request to pass them without a 3rd reading. So we need a motion to suspend Rule 9D. Mr. Gallagher?
Madam President, I move to suspend the rule. Second.
Moved by Mr. Gallagher and seconded by Mr. Germain to suspend the requirement that we have a 3rd reading. All those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. Item 0035.
Resolution number 2014-0035, a resolution confirming the county executive's appointment of Mark A. Parks, Jr. upon his taking the oath of office as fiscal officer of Cuyahoga County, and declaring the necessity that this resolution become immediately effective.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Germain, who is seconding? Moved by Mr. Jones. Any discussion on this item?
President. Madam President, I don't need to remind my colleagues during our confirmation hearings of my opposition to this appointment. I will simply state that I did oppose Gerald First's appointment, and I do oppose this appointment as well. Although Mr. Parks is a fine gentleman, I do not believe he possesses the skills to be our fiscal officer, so I will not be supporting this motion.
All right, any other questions or comments? All those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? One nay. Mr. Parks is here. Congratulations, Mr. Park, you're our new fiscal officer. Oh, okay, you get sworn in. I forgot about that. Come on up.
solemnly swear that I will support, uphold, and defend
That I will support, uphold, and defend
the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the State of Ohio,
the Constitution of the State of Ohio,
and the Charter and laws of the County of Cuyahoga,
and the Charter and laws of
We
the County
voted.
of Cuyahoga.
that I will faithfully, honestly, and diligently
That I will faithfully, honestly, and diligently,
and impartially perform and discharge
and impartially perform and discharge
all of the powers and duties
all of the powers and duties
incumbent upon me as fiscal officer
incumbent upon me as fiscal officer
in and for the county of Cuyahoga,
in and for the county of Cuyahoga,
state of Ohio, according to the best of my ability and understanding.
according to the best of my ability and understanding.
So help me God.
Yeah, we got you in.
All right, congratulations, Mr. Parks. Sharpen up your pencils. We'll be calling on you. All right, item number 2, 0048.
Resolution number 2014-0048, a resolution approving the appointment of various individuals to serve on the College Savings Account Program Committee for an unexpired term ending May 31st, 2017, and declaring the necessity that this resolution become immediately effective. The individuals are Julian Rogers and Khalil Soren.
Move to adopt.
Ms. Conwell and seconded by Mr. Miller. Any discussion on this item?
Madam President?
Yes,
Well,
go ahead.
Ms.
Go ahead, Ms.
Conwell.
Conwell.
It's very befitting that we have Councilman Rogers, who was instrumental in starting this college savings account, to sit on this, this new committee. So this committee, after Councilman Greenspan shares his thoughts, would like to ask this committee of Council of the Whole to confirm both of these individuals.
And just for the audience, this is the College Savings Fund account where each student gets $100. And so this will be the advisory committee that will sort of monitor it. Mr. Greenspan?
Great, thank you, Madam President. Madam President, this obviously has been a contentious item, as we heard, for the past 18 months or so since it was introduced. And although I clearly support the promotion of financial literacy and post-secondary education, I do not support and have not supported the College Savings Fund, as I challenge its effectiveness based on the historical information presented to support the program itself. I have spoken. I called Mr. Rogers last night at home, and I expressed to him my confidence in his ability to serve, but as I talked to Mr. Khalil Soren as well, I will not be supporting their nominations for the simple fact that you believe what you believe, and I don't believe this program will be effective in the long run. So for that reason, I'll be voting against the nominations.
All right, any other comments? Ms. Simon?
Thank you, Madam President. With whatever doubts one might have about the effectiveness of this program, I think it's essential, if we do have doubts or questions, that we have a committee to serve to oversee the implementation of that program. And I can't think of anybody, two people more suitable than Mr. Rogers and Mr. Soren. So I welcome the committee and their part in making sure that this program will be successful.
All right. If there's no other discussion, all those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? So it passes with one dissent. Congratulations, Mr. Rogers and Mr. Soren. I don't know if some of you know, but Khalil Soren, you probably know his mother, Leslie Huff, who's been involved in many activities. And he was very instrumental in actually helping work with the legislation and setting this up. So he probably knows more about this program than anyone. So we look forward to having him work for us and also on the committee. All right, item 0049.
Resolution number 2014-0049, a resolution confirming the county executive's appointment of Lisa M. Hunt to serve on the Cuyahoga County Board of Developmental Disabilities for an unexpired term ending January 31st, 2017, and declaring the necessity that this resolution become immediately effective.
Move to adopt.
I moved by Ms. Conwell and seconded by Ms. Simon. Any discussion on this?
Yes, Madam Chair, just asking my colleagues to support Lisa M. Hunt. She did come in front of the committee, and she presented very well and is very passionate in regards to this, this board she would like to serve on. So,
Is she here this evening? Lisa Hunt? Okay. Any other questions? Mr. Miller?
I was also at the hearing, and I was also very impressed that she knew her stuff and had a lot of heart and really cared about the people, and I think she's going to be great.
All right, all those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Congratulations to Lisa Hunt. You're not actually supposed to clap. We just clap if somebody's here. Committee reports and consideration of a resolution of council for third reading adoption.
Resolution number 2014-0047, a resolution confirming the county executive's appointment of Glenn Coyne to serve on the Northeast Ohio Area-Wide Coordinating Agency Board of Directors and declaring the necessity that this resolution become immediately effective.
Move to adopt.
Moved by Ms. Conwell and seconded by Mr. Gallagher. And Ms. Conwell?
Yes, Madam Chair. Glenn Coyne is a very capable individual. It was never any question with the committee. I believe the question in regards was the term limits in regards to NOACA. That is something that, with the law department looking into, will not be able to be ratified right away because it is several agency board of directors that have to come in and change their bylaws. So that portion will be constantly worked on. I am now appointed to sit on that planning board, so I will make sure that this council's wishes are brought forward, but this has nothing to do with Mr. Glenn Coyne, so I would like everyone to confirm him.
All right, any other questions, comments? All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Congratulations to Mr. Coyne. Consideration of an ordinance for first reading referral to committee.
Ordinance number 2014-0007, an ordinance amending Cuyahoga County Code, Section 804.01C, Component 2, Post-Secondary College or University Scholarship Program, to approve revised geographical limitations on eligible institutions, to increase maximum yearly scholarships to $1,500, and to enable the program administrator to repurpose unexpended funds allocated for scholarships, and declaring the necessity that this ordinance become immediately effective.
And this matter will go to Education, Environment, and Sustainability, and they'll work out the details and refer it back to council for a vote. Legislation introduced by the executive. No, am I?
That's correct.
That's right, okay, all right. Item 12, legislation introduced by the executive. Consideration of resolutions for first reading and adoption under suspension of the rule. These are matters that are time sensitive, and so we'll be passing them without 3 readings, so we need a motion to suspend Rule 9D and 12A. Mr. Gallagher.
Madam President, I move to suspend the rules. Second.
Moved by Mr. Gallagher and seconded by Mr. Germano. All those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it.
Resolution number 2014-0060, a resolution amending the 2014-2015 biennial operating budget for 2014 by providing for additional fiscal appropriations from the general fund and other funding sources, for appropriation transfers between budget accounts, and for cash transfers between budgetary funds in order to meet the budgetary needs of various county departments, offices, and agencies, and declaring the necessity that this resolution become immediately effective.
Adopt.
Moved by Mr. Miller and seconded by Ms. Conwell. Now, these are usually, these are listed in the program. They're minor transfers between accounts, so it doesn't affect generally the entire budget. Mr. Miller, do you want to be heard?
Madam President and my colleagues, this fiscal agenda item is routine except for the 4 items that comprise a total of $7,462,000 in capital improvements for the Justice Center, and these items require temporary use of reserves with the intent that they be taken out by a future bond issue. And I would ask if Director Tewan would please come forward and give us some information on what these items are for, why they're needed, and how they relate to the larger planning process around the Justice Center complex that's currently underway. Thank you.
Thank you. Bonnie Tewan, Director of Public Works. Councilman Miller asked me to give a brief summary of the projects that are listed in your agenda today. As you know, we've been doing an in-depth study of the Justice Center, 3.2 million square feet. We're analyzing the condition and looking at the functions in the facility and seeing what kind of future needs that we have. Early on during the analysis of the condition of the building, there were some projects that were identified as projects that are relatively low cost, but there's a need for a sense of urgency to preserve the condition of our building as it stands right now. So there's 4 projects specifically in front of you that we'd like to move forward on before the complete analysis is done and approved. And those 4 projects are, do you want me to read them? Or
Okay.
do you just, I'm sorry?
You can read them briefly.
Okay. The 4 projects are the court tower sealant replacement. That's the envelope of the building, the masons, the masonry part of the building. We're going through hiring a consultant to come up with a set of plans so that those joints can be sealed. The fire protection system, there's some fire protection equipment that could be upgraded, and we're pursuing that project. Perimeter security, this is not necessarily started with our analysis of the Justice Center, but through a security report that the courts have, and there's been ongoing security discussions about how to improve the security at the Justice Center. We'd like to move forward on some of those recommendations. It's mostly geared towards parking down in the lower level and getting trucks to be searched before they get down to the level, and having them done, searched outside, and some ADA parking on the perimeter of the building. And then window replacement, which will probably, it's identified here as a separate project, we'll probably include it in our ceiling project.
Okay. Questions?
Yes, thank you, Madam Chairperson. To Director T1, I assume that these are the baby steps leading up to the 6 or 7 options that are going to be presented to the council for renovations over the next 12 years in the Justice Center.
I'm not even sure they're baby steps yet, but they're baby gurgles compared to some of the things that we have to do to the Justice Center. As I said before, it's 3.2 million square feet, built in the 70s. The building has reached its useful life. There's been some maintenance, but it's reached its point where we need to do something with this building. We will come to you and present a comprehensive plan of what we're proposing to do. It's in combination with trying to consolidate our properties around the Justice Center, as well as improving the condition and the functions in the Justice Center.
Thank you. I just wanted to make the council, give the council a heads up if it's not aware that we're talking with each of these options north of $300 million in repairs over 12 years.
Yes, Mr. Miller.
Director, do we have confidence that all of these $7.5 million worth of items are things that we would have to do regardless, and that none of it are things that might go away depending on what the larger plan is?
We do. These are things that should be addressed right away, and they'll help us preserve the building, whether we keep it for an extended period of time or even a short time. It's some of these items, like the ceiling of the masonry walls, the envelope of the building, we should accomplish as soon as possible.
Mr. Greenspan?
Thank you, Madam President. These items were not included in the CIP in this past budget or in the budget anywhere? Is that correct?
Not these specific line items, because we didn't have the details of the study done at that time.
And hence the use of reserves on a temporary basis?
Yeah, and you'll have to address the mechanism with Chris as far as how they utilize the funds.
Great. Can I ask Mr. Parks a question on this?
Yeah, there's some seats over here, folks, I think, over a couple seats.
Or Chris?
Through the chair, to Councilman Greenspan, these projects were part of the CIP. They weren't identified specifically as they are now, but they were in the 2014 CIP that you approved.
They were, but the funds were not encumbered.
No, because this is going to be funded via a future debt issuance. So we appropriate knowing that we're going to receive the cash. Thus, we have the situation where it's a temporary use of reserves.
Okay, I just 2 requests for a future Finance Committee meeting, whether it's you or Mr. Parks to provide the information. The first item would be a summary of the use of reserves, as well as and their impacts on our bonds, and what items we anticipate going out to bond, and when that activity will take place. So that could just be presented at the next Finance Committee.
Okay.
All right, thank you, Mr. Greenspan. All right, any other questions on this? All right, all those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Item 0061.
Resolution number 2014-0061, a resolution approving a collective bargaining agreement between Cuyahoga County and the International Union, United Automobile, Aerospace, and Agricultural Implement Workers of America, UAW Region 2B, covering approximately 21 employees in the classification of registered nurse at the Sheriff's Department, for the period May 1st, 2013 through April 30th, 2016, directing that funds necessary to implement the collective bargaining agreement be budgeted and appropriated, authorizing the county executive to execute the agreement and all other documents consistent with this resolution, and declaring the necessity that this resolution become immediately effective.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Germain and seconded by Mr. Miller. This was a matter that we heard the details of in the executive session. It has to do with collective bargaining with a particular union, and the the county is recommending that we adopt this collective bargaining agreement. Any questions? This involves nurses working at the jail, which is a pretty tough job, so. Okay, all those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Item 0062.
Resolution number 2014-0062, a resolution authorizing agreements with various providers in the total amount not to exceed $7,157,057.65 for child support services for the period January 1, 2014 through December 31, 2014, authorizing the county executive to execute the agreements and all other documents consistent with this resolution, and declaring the necessity that this resolution become immediately effective for the entities as printed on the agenda, items 3I, II, and III.
Madam Chairperson.
Mr. Brady, move to adopt. Moved by Mr. Brady and seconded by Ms. Simon. Mr. Brady?
This is a special situation. We have, it has been, Mr. Gautner has requested that we take a look at this and pass it this evening, and we're going to trust his judgment and give us, but we're asking him to give us a full explanation.
Mr. Gautner?
Madam President, the items before you and item number 3 and item number 4 below, their sole impact was to allow the county to be reimbursed for portions of those budgets which this council has already approved for the 4 other county entities identified, that being the Common Pleas Division of Domestic Relations, the Court of Common Pleas Division of Juvenile Court, Prosecuting Attorney, and then in the next item, the Treasurer's Agreement. As council knows, it is your role to set the budgets. The purpose of these agreements will be to allow the county to receive partial reimbursement of the budgets that this body has authorized. Contingent upon the passage of these items, the county will be eligible to receive approximately $7.2 million as these items are expensed. Speaking in support of what I understand to be council's willingness to consider the possible passage at the point of introduction really goes to the process of which really the state is the prime mover. Following the adoption of the budget by council, the respective offices and the department formulate a budget and a contract. This has to be then submitted to the Ohio Department of Job and Family Services, who this year took about a month to review and approve those agreements, then required some changes. If the department is not able to submit, if the department does not have passage and execution of documents by March 31st, we would not be able to seek federal reimbursement to the general fund of the first quarter's worth of expenses.
Thank you. Questions?
Just wanted to thank Mr. Gautner, but also ask him, this was brought to me, late, and I wanted to be cooperative. But I would like to know why this was not introduced in a way that would have made it more timely and have gone through the committee process in a normal way.
Certainly, to the chairman through the chair, it really has to go with the lineup or the situation I tried to describe. wherein the respective offices within county government could really not formulate their final budget and then prorate the portion of that budget that is chargeable to the child support program until the final budget is approved by council. Once that budget is approved, the Department of Job and Family Services and respective county offices did work as fast as possible to execute agreement. The intervening step, though, is that whereas in the past the state has acted on the review of those documents in as little as a week, this year it took a month or more for the state to do its review, its required review of the contracts before they're executed. And then in some of those circumstances, they mandated that there be changes to the contracts, which are then required going back to the respective office within county government, redoing the documents prior to their submission.
All right. I'd like to suggest that the council support the administration in this action.
All right, thank you, Mr. Brady. All right, any other questions? All right, all those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it.
Thank you.
Item 0063. And
Resolution-
this item goes along with the last one? Okay.
Yes, in order. Resolution number 2014-0063, a resolution authorizing an agreement with Cuyahoga County Treasurer's Office in the amount not to exceed $40,218.55 for child support services for the period January 1, 2014 through December 31, 2014, authorizing the county executive to execute the agreement and all other documents consistent with this resolution, and declaring the necessity that this resolution become immediately effective.
Move approval.
Moved by Mr. Brady and seconded by Ms. Simon. Is anything further? This is actually just the Treasurer's Department, Treasurer's Office, part of the same
Yes, ma'am.
issue? Okay. All right. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Item B, consideration of resolution for first reading and referral to committee. So these are all being read for the first time, and we'll be referring them to committees.
Resolution number 2014-0064, a resolution declaring official intent under United States Treasury regulations with respect to reimbursements from bond proceeds of temporary advances made for payments in connection with the development of the county's Convention Center Hotel prior to issuance of bonds and related matters, and declaring the necessity that this resolution become immediately effective.
Let's go to Finance and Budget.
Resolution number 2014-0065, a resolution making an award on requisition number 24787 to Cleveland Thermal for central heating and cooling services, steam and chilled water, and other related services at various county facilities for the period April 1, 2014 through December 31, 2033. Authorizing the county executive to execute the agreements and all other documents consistent with said award and this resolution, and declaring the necessity that this resolution become immediately effective.
We'll go to Public Works, and Mr. Jones has been the chairman of the Public Works Committee, and I don't think he knew what he was getting into when he first got it, but it's been a lot of work, and he's now an expert in all our county public works.
It's been good.
Resolution number 2014-0066, a resolution making an award on requisition number 29217 to Sterling Professional Group in the amount not to exceed $876,150 for the Cuyahoga County Board of Elections Elevator Modernization Project, authorizing the county executive to execute the contract and all other documents consistent with said award and this resolution, and declaring the necessity that this resolution become immediately effective.
Now, I understand this, we have at your place a proposed amendment to this resolution. So, Mr. Jones, did you want to make a motion for the amendment?
We do, Madam President. This proposed amendment just clarifies that the primary goal is to provide construction services for the elevator repair of our, and modernization of our Board of Elections elevator. So I do make a motion to amend this resolution.
All right, moved by Mr. Jones and seconded by Mr. Germana. Any discussion on the amendment? All those in favor of the amendment indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. The amended resolution is then sent to Public Works.
Resolution number 2014-0067, a resolution making an award on requisition number 28835 to Shermer Construction in the amount not to exceed $2,279,945.11 for rehabilitation of Bel Air Road Bridge number 24 over Countryman's Creek in the city of Cleveland and village of Lindale, authorizing the county executive to execute the contract and all other documents consistent with said award and this resolution, authorizing the county engineer on behalf of the county executive to make an application for allocation from county motor vehicle $5 license tax funds in the amount of $455,989.03 to fund said contract and declaring the necessity that this resolution become immediately effective.
All right, this matter will go to Public Works, and this is use of the money that when you buy your license plate, there's an additional cost. This is where this money is going to go to fix one of our bridges. Go ahead.
Resolution number 2014-0068, a resolution making an award on requisition number 27932 to Hatch Mott McDonald in the amount not to exceed $612,955 for engineering design services for resurfacing of West 130th Street from Brook Park Road to Lorraine Avenue in the cities of Brook Park and Cleveland, authorizing the county executive to execute the contract and all other documents consistent with said award and this resolution, and declaring the necessity that this resolution become immediately effective.
Okay,
President?
yes.
Having blown a tire on West 130th Street, I'd like to ask that my name be added.
Okay, this will go to Public Works, add Mr. Miller's name, and this is one of our county roads. So we got city roads and county roads, and this is one of our county roads, and that's why we're fixing this one.
Madam Chairperson, this street, very well-traveled street, borders Councilman Miller in my district, so I would like my name added as well.
Okay, Mr. Miller and Mr. Brady.
Okay, you got it. Resolution number 2014-0069, a resolution authorizing an amendment to contract number CE 1300-176 with Perk Company Incorporated for repair and resurfacing of Snow Road from West 130th Street to Ridge Road in the cities of Parma and Parma Heights for additional funds in the amount not to exceed $598,885.74, authorizing the county executive to execute the amendment and all other documents consistent with this resolution, and declaring the necessity that this resolution become immediately effective.
This will go to Public Works. It says Parma. When we first got here, we thought every road that was fixed was in Parma. They kind of,
Mr. Germana, did you say?
yes,
your
add
name?
Mr. Germana's name.
Okay. Resolution number 2014-0070, a resolution approving various changes to the Cuyahoga County non-bargaining classification plan and declaring the necessity that this resolution become immediately effective.
Okay, this will go to Human Resources, and Ms. Conwell and her committee will review any proposed plans to these job classifications.
Resolution number 2014-0071, a resolution authorizing an economic development fund loan in the amount not to exceed $1,500,000 to National Automotive Experts Property Management for assistance to purchase a facility located at 8370 Dow Circle, Strongsville, authorizing the Deputy Chief of Staff of Development or Director of Development to execute all documents consistent with said loan and this resolution, and declaring the necessity that this resolution become immediately effective.
This will go to Economic Development, and Mr. Gallagher would like to have his name added.
Resolution number 2014-0072, a resolution making an award on requisition number 27440 to CareWorks Technologies in the amount not to exceed $712,500 for wide area network and telecom consultant services for the Regional Enterprise Data Sharing System for the period April 1, 2014 through December 31, 2018, authorizing the county executive to execute the contract and all other documents consistent with said award and this resolution, and declaring the necessity that this resolution become immediately effective.
This will go to Public Safety and Justice Affairs, chaired by Mr. Gallagher.
Resolution number 2014-0073, a resolution authorizing a revenue-generating underlying agreement with City of Cleveland in the minimum amount of $2,365,658.95 per annum for operation of jail services for city prisoners effective June 1, 2014, authorizing a lease in connection with said agreement in the amount not to exceed $1 per annum for use of the city's central prison unit located at 1300 Ontario Street, 6th floor, Cleveland, authorizing the county executive to execute the agreement and all other documents consistent with this resolution and declaring the necessity that this resolution become immediately effective.
It goes to Public Safety, Justice Affairs.
Resolution number 2014-0074, a resolution authorizing an agreement with the Metro Health System in the amount not to exceed $4,598,368 for management, healthcare, and related services at the Cuyahoga County Correction Center for the period April 1, 2014 through December 31, 2014, authorizing the county executive to execute the agreement and all other documents consistent with this resolution and declaring the necessity that this resolution become immediately effective.
This matter will go to Public Safety and Justice Affairs, and I just wanted to make an announcement. The county jail medical facility was actually, we had a company that ran the medical services there, and since the new government took place, we actually contracted with Metro Hospital, Metro Health Services, and so they provide the medical care for people in the jail. It's a very, very specialized kind of medical treatment. And we have Dr. Talon. Is Dr. Talon here? And Dr. Talon is here. He has worked with the military veterans and also for the Cleveland Clinic, and Metro Hospital has hired him to serve as the medical director of the county jail. And we're very excited in moving forward with our relationship with Metro Hospital. And I would like to ask Dr. Talon to come forward and introduce himself and say a few words.
Thank you. It's an honor and a privilege to be here, and actions speak louder than words, so that's a lot of money. So we need to, I look forward to the opportunity, and I'm excited about the opportunity this has given me to work and create a model of healthcare and do it efficiently and cost effectively. And I really think this is going to be a great opportunity. I think it was a great choice to work with Metro. And I've been practicing medicine for 28 years. I became a patient 4 years ago and spent 3 months over here at Metro myself learning how to walk and function again. And they did a great job. I think this is going to be a great opportunity for all of us, and I really look forward to this. So I appreciate the chance that we can move forward. And we have a lot of work to do, but I think this is going to be something to really look at later.
Thank you, Dr. Talon, and welcome.
Resolution number 2014-0075, a resolution making awards on requisition number 28786 to various providers, each in the amount not to exceed $961,392 for neighborhood collaborative services for the Family to Family Neighborhood System of Care program for the period April 1, 2014 through March 31, 2017, authorizing the county executive to execute the agreements and contracts and all other documents consistent with said awards and this resolution, and declaring the necessity that this resolution become immediately effective for all of the providers as printed on the agenda.
And this will go to Health and Human Services, chaired by Mr. Brady.
Resolution number 2014-0076, a resolution authorizing an amendment to contract number CE 1300-126 with Emerald Development and Economic Network Incorporated for rapid rehousing services for the Emergency Solutions Grant Program for the period October 1, 2012 through September 30, 2014, for additional funds in the amount not to exceed $676,606, authorizing the county executive to execute the amendment and all other documents consistent with this resolution, and declaring the necessity that this resolution become immediately effective.
Go to Health and Human Services.
Resolution number 2014-0077, a resolution authorizing an amendment to contract number CE 1300-099 with Lutheran Metropolitan Ministry for emergency shelter services for homeless men located at 2100 Lakeside Avenue, Cleveland, for the period January 1, 2013 through December 31, 2013, to extend the time period to December 31, 2014, and for additional funds in the amount not to exceed $1,709,920, authorizing the county executive to execute the amendment and all other documents consistent with this resolution, and declaring the necessity that this resolution become immediately effective.
Go to Health and Human Services.
And finally, Resolution Number 2014-0078, a resolution authorizing an amendment to contract number CE 1300-098 with MHS Incorporated for emergency shelter services for homeless women and families at the Norma Hare Women's Center, located at 2227 Payne Avenue, Cleveland, for the period January 1, 2013 through December 31, 2013, to extend the time period to December 31, 2014, and for additional funds in the amount not to exceed $1,148,293, authorizing the county executive to execute the amendment and all other documents consistent with this resolution, and declaring the necessity that this resolution become immediately effective.
Go to Health and Human Services. Okay, moving right along, we're almost done here. Item C, committee reports and consideration of resolutions for second reading under suspension of the rules. These matters have been to committee, but we're going to waive the rule to have a third reading. Mr. Gallagher.
Madam President, I move to suspend the rules.
Moved by Mr. Gallagher and seconded by Mr. Germain. Any discussion? All those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. The rules are suspended to waive the third reading.
Resolution number 2014-0043, a resolution making an award on requisition number 28759 to Lutheran Metropolitan Ministry in the amount not to exceed $553,000 for adult guardianship services for the period January 1, 2014 through December 31, 2014, authorizing the county executive to execute the contract and all other documents consistent with said award and this resolution, and declaring the necessity that this resolution become immediately effective.
Madam Chairperson, move approval.
Moved by Mr. Brady, seconded by Mr. Miller. Mr. Brady?
This contract with Lutheran Metropolitan Ministry for $550,000 for the adult guardianship services for the Division of Senior and Adult Services was unanimously passed out of the Health and Human Service Committee last week after many questions.
Any other discussions? All right, all those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it.
Resolution number 2014-0053, a resolution authorizing the issuance of not to exceed $39,900,000, County of Cuyahoga, Ohio, Healthcare Facilities Revenue Refunding Bonds, Series 2014, the A.M. McGregor Home Project, for the purpose of refunding the outstanding principal amount of County of Cuyahoga, Ohio, Adjustable Rate Demand Healthcare Facilities Revenue Refunding Bonds, Series 2009, the A.M. McGregor Home Project, Adjustable Rate Demand Healthcare Facilities Revenue Refunding Bonds, Series 2010A, the A.M. McGregor Home Project, and Adjustable Rate Demand Healthcare Facilities Revenue Refunding Bonds, Series 2010B, the A.M. McGregor Home Project, that were issued to provide funds to assist the A.M. McGregor Home in financing costs of certain hospital facilities within the boundaries of the county, providing for the pledge of revenues for the payment of those bonds, authorizing the execution and delivery of a trust indenture, a lease agreement, a sublease, and a bond purchase agreement, authorizing and approving related matters, and declaring the necessity that this resolution become immediately effective.
Okay, is there a motion to adopt? I can speak on.
To adopt.
Moved by Ms. Simon, seconded by Mr. Germana. This is a bonding revenue for the McGregor Home. Mr. Gallagher just asked me where. It's in East Cleveland, and it's right on Lee Road at the, what's the intersection? Lee Road and Terrace, right. And it is like one of the nicest senior citizen buildings I've ever been to. I was there a couple weeks ago for a program, and it's just wonderful. And it's one of the... That's in your district?
Madam Chair, I want to make a point that it is in my district, District 10.
You want to add your name to the legislation?
Add my name to the legislation.
Madam President?
Yes.
Essentially a refinancing of some debt.
And add my name as well, Madam President.
All right, any other discussion on this? All those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it.
Resolution number 2014-0055, a resolution making an award on requisition number 28967 to Catholic Charities Corporation in the amount not to exceed $554,240 for sanctioned compliance programming and support services for Ohio Works First families losing cash assistance for the period March 1, 2014 through February 28, 2015, authorizing the county executive to execute the contract and all other documents consistent with said award and this resolution, and declaring the necessity that this resolution become immediately effective.
Madam Chairperson, move approval.
Brady and seconded by Mr. Miller. Do you want to be heard on this, Mr. Brady?
Well, it's another contract, this one by the Catholic Charities Corporation for the Ohio Works First Families Program for Cuyahoga County Jobs and Family Services. Again, we heard this last week in committee, and it was unanimously passed after much discussion. And I ask for the support of the committee.
All right, any questions, comments? All those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. All right, D, consideration of an ordinance for first reading and referral to committee.
Ordinance number 2014-0008, an ordinance enacting the Cuyahoga County Voting Rights Law, updating the Cuyahoga County Equity Plan in Chapter 1101 of the Cuyahoga County Code in conformity therewith, and declaring the necessity that this ordinance become immediately effective.
I'm going to refer this matter to the Committee of the Whole, and we're going to be hearing this next Tuesday, March the 18th at 3 o'clock. We're going to bump Mr. Miller's Finance Committee. He's probably over having in coronary arrest, give him some oxygen, but we think that this is a matter that is very, very important, and we can deal with some of those other financial matters at a later date at the following week. So we'll be hearing this next Tuesday at 3 o'clock.
President, can I say one word? I'm co-sponsoring this piece of legislation because I think it's one of the most important functions we serve as a council member of a new charter government, in which we're able to exercise home rule and stand up for residents who perhaps are going to see their voting rights taken away, a right that they've been exercising to vote by mail, to vote before an election, and to make sure that these rights aren't limited. This is a vital, essential core function, I believe, that we serve, and I'm going to stand by the residents to make sure that the voting practice that they've been able to undertake is continued rather than taken away. So I hope when we go to committee, we have long discussions on this, because I don't think there's anything more important for us as a new government to stand up for.
Thank you, Ms. Simon. All right, any miscellaneous committee reports? We'll start with Mr. Greenspan. And
Great, thank you, Madam President. My committee will meet on March 24th at 9 a.m. We will continue the discussion on the Inspector General ordinance and the one other item referred to committee. It's my expectation that we should be able to get through serious discussion on the Inspector General ordinance with one other meeting and then move on to other possible charter amendments. Thank you.
Madam President, you did confer with me in advance about the Finance Committee meeting, and I concurred, and we are going to have the Finance Committee meeting on Monday, the 24th at 1 p.m. That's the regular time slot for that committee. Thank you.
Madam
Mr. Brady?
Chairperson, we had intended on the 19th to have a hearing and a discussion about food stamps, but given that there were so many resolutions that were introduced this evening and they're quite significant, we're going to look at those resolutions on the 19th, and then we'll try to push the conversation on the food stamps to the following 26th. I'll give you an update on that as we get closer.
all right, thank you, Mr. Gallagher.
And Madam President, next Tuesday at 1 o'clock will be safety. That's Tuesday, which is the day after the day,
What day?
St. Patrick's Day.
Oh, what is that?
The day after the day.
Okay.
Yes, Human Resources Appointment and Equity will be Tuesday, March 18th at 10 a.m., the day after the day.
And it's going to snow on their day, I think. Anything, Mr. Jones?
Madam President, the Public Works Committee will meet March 19th at 11 a.m. to deal with the items that have been referred today. And we will also have an update on our disparity study. I want the committee to know how we've been progressing as far as its completion. Just for the sake of those in the room today, a disparity study is a study that determines, looks for the evidence of any racial inequity or disparity when it comes to contracting here at the county level. And once that has been determined, then there may be race-conscious or non-race conscious programming created to address any inequities that are found. So we are moving well. These projects have cost in the millions of dollars across this nation, and we are coming in well in the neighborhood of $200,000 for what we found to be a very effective program. And quietly, I would say something that might be a national model as we move forward. So we will continue to work hard on this, and the committee will be updated again on March 19th.
And Ms. Simon, did you have anything?
Lastly, the Education Environmental Committee meets Wednesday, March 19th at 3. Handle the legislation introduced tonight on the College Now.
Okay, and any other public comment unrelated to agenda or miscellaneous business?
No, Madam Chair, no one has signed in to speak.
Okay, if there's nothing further, the first meeting where we had the new member, Mr. Hairston, now stands adjourned.